Our drivers heading out onto the circuit, at least most of them, because number 14 there in the background, you can see just struggling to get underway, Alexander Brown, but the kart fires up and he does join. And there you can see the grid on the screens if you're watching on our live stream service at Telemundi TV. Welcome along. Hope you're well wherever you are in the world, and thanks very much for joining us. We hope to entertain you with some great racing today. So this is a 9-lap race for the juniors, the pre-final. Kylian Mayer, second, third and fourth in the heats yesterday. Quickest man in qualifying on Friday is the driver who lines up on pole position, Ben Wooldridge, who is second in the points, just a point behind the leader, Chris Lulham. He's also on the front row of the grid. Then it is the points leader, Chris Lulham, third on the grid. Ethan Hawkey, fourth on the grid. Row 3, Louis Westover and Ruben Moya. Row 4, we've got Ethan Tan and Oscar Paloma-Ortiz, who was a race winner yesterday in the heats as well. Milan Petele, who won a couple of heats in the first round in Italy, the French driver. Maybe one to watch here in the Praga team kart number 16 from the fifth row of the grid. Angus Mulsdale making his debut, doing a decent job yesterday, is inside the top 10. On row 6, we've got Tanapongpan Sutomno from Japan and Alex Brown representing Singapore. Row 7, Rens van Pelt and Ali Akabi from Jordan. And the final row of the grid, row 8, Reshad Dejarou. And we have next to him Manel Golofra. So there will be 16 karts lined up. 3 different winners in the heats yesterday. Chris Lulham for Fusion Motorsport, Oscar Paloma-Ortiz for Team Ivan Racing, and Ben Wooldridge in the last heat, taking a victory for the Vital Motorsport UK team. But Kylian Mayer has looked strong all weekend long. He's here in his home country. And Kylian Mayer, the Spaniard, alongside the British driver Ben Wooldridge on this second formation lap. Points available for this one: 34 points for a race win, 33 points for second, 32 points for third, and then it goes down in 1 point increments. The results of this give you the grid for the final, and also then it will be a case of more points available for the final itself. So in that one, instead of 34 points for a win, you'll get 55 for a win, 52 for second, 50 for third, 49 for fourth, and down in 1 point increments. So 89 points available today, and only 3 points covering the top 4 in the championship. It is going to be exciting. Hold on to your hats, everybody. We're about to go racing here in Zuera. Kylian Mayer, number 26, leading them round from pole position. Ben Wooldridge with the white, yellow and blue colours. Number 30 alongside him with a difficult job from the outside of row 1. And they get underway. The race tears down into turn 1 for the first time. Kylian Mayer with a very good start there makes pole position become the race lead. He hits the brakes into turn 2. It's flat out through turn 1. They accelerate down the back straight then and towards the first of 2 hairpins here on the lap into the right-hander at turn 3. Kylian Mayer deep into the corner but holding his line. Ben Wooldridge trying to fight back, having had to really dig his heels in to try and hold on to second place. He's managed to do that by the time they arrive at turn 4. So a very good start for Ben Wooldridge. Louis Westover, number 15, tucks into third place, and his teammate Chris Lulham in number 17 is there in 4th place. So good starts for all 3 of the key championship contenders. They're all still in the top 4. Louis Westover, by his own admission, he's not really a championship contender, only 11th in the points. He was quick on his debut in Italy, but he had a bit of bad luck along the way. But he's going really well here so far this weekend, and would have been higher up the grid had he not been involved in one of the incidents at turn 2, which saw him fail to finish the race. But Louis Westover, he's going to be in the mix for a race win, I reckon, here this weekend. He and Chris Lulham, his teammate, have been inseparable. And Louis Westover now right onto the rear bumper of Ben Wooldridge in second place. Ben in turn closes up to the race leader and goes for the lead into turn 2. We've got a new leader. We've got a new second place. The 2 Brits get past the Spaniard, and it's Wooldridge now leading for the first time in the race. In second place, it's Louis Westover. Chris Lulham has just joined them. He's gone third at turn 3 at the hairpin. And so the race leader, Kylian Mayer, finds himself suddenly demoted down to 4th place. Ethan Hawkey is just behind them in 5th position. Ruben Moya and Milan Petele, 6th and 7th at the end of the first lap of the race. They make their way down towards the left-hander at turn 6 with Wooldridge and Westover now just breaking clear of the 3rd place kart of Chris Lulham, and Westover is right onto the rear bumper of the race leader. You've got to be careful not to make contact these days in these karts, because they have these new front bumper systems where if you make too heavy a contact with somebody, whether or not it's deliberate or your own fault, and that then is designed to fold in, and if it folds in and you get back to scrutineering, you get a penalty, and we've seen it applied several times so far this weekend. So you've got to be careful. You've got to get close, but you can't get too close. Over the line they go. First and second, nose to tail. Through turn 1, Louis Westover thinks about a move, but he's not quite close enough. Or at least the gap doesn't open up. So Ben Wooldridge hangs on to the lead of the race so far. If it stays like this, he's going to move into the points lead because he's only one behind Chris Lulham, and Chris is 2 places behind him on the track in 3rd place. Killian Mayer is still in 4th position, but Ethan Hawkey is on his tail in 5th place and goes through with a lovely move down the inside at turn 4. So Ethan Hawkey, who's shown some real good turns of pace this weekend and good consistency, gets himself up into 4th position now. Killian Mayer might come under fire from Milan Petelé. He does at turn 6. Petelé goes down the inside, and Mayer's going to lose another 2 places. He's hung out to dry, so Killian Mayer struggling at the moment. The pole sitter is out of the top 6 now as our top 3 get closer and closer together, weaving their way through the S-bend section at turn 8, turn 9, into the right-hander at turn 10. It's flat out from here all the way down the massively long straight, all the way through turn 1. You don't touch the brakes until you get to turn 2. There's a huge toe which can benefit you by 3 or 4 tenths of a second, and Louis Westover is gaining from that, but Ben Wooldridge is defending really well here. He's not looking over his shoulder, he's not weaving around, but he's just sitting on the racing line. He's not leaving any gaps, any opportunities, and he'll defend well into the hairpin as well. So the top 3 for now have broken clear of the battle for 4th place, which is going on. And I think Petelé looks like he's got ahead of Ethan Hawkey in that one. So Milan Petelé had a quiet start to the weekend on Friday and yesterday morning. He's starting to come good now, and still very much a driver that could win the championship this weekend. So he goes 4th. Ethan Hawkey is there in 5th place, and poor Killian Mayer is plummeting down the order. He's down in 8th place. He's behind Oscar Paloma-Waltis now, who's made a decent start to proceedings. But at the front of the field, it's Ben Wooldridge leading the way, half a length clear of Louis Westover, number 15, Chris Lulham, number 17, tucked in behind the pair of them. In 3rd place, up towards turn 10 they go. There's a nice big gap of a second or so between 3rd and 4th, so Milan Petelé will have to work hard to close up to the top 3, and already time beginning to run out because 4 of the 9 laps have now been complete, and we see a challenge for the lead into turn 2. Westover goes through, perfect manoeuvre, well timed. Ben Wooldridge gave him the room, and that was great driving from both of them. So we have a new race leader. Louis Westover is running a bit deep into the corner though at turn 3, and Ben Wooldridge tries to fight back at turn 4. He can't do it. Westover hangs on to his new race lead. Wooldridge 2nd, Lulham 3rd. Milan Petelé, looking quick, in 4th place, is trying to close the gap. Ethan Hawkey in 5th, Ruben Moyer is 6th, Paloma-Waltis and Mayer 7th and 8th in the race. And Ben Wooldridge drops to 3rd now, so Ben Wooldridge has been passed by Chris Lulham. So it's a fusion 1-2, it's Westover, Lulham, Wooldridge, the new race order. And Louis Westover trying to get his head down here and pull away from Wooldridge. You get the sense that he was being held up because the way he's already rocketed away from Ben Wooldridge. It looks like Louis Westover is on a real good pace here. So too, though, is his teammate. And Chris Lulham now picks up a toe, gets close to him, gets alongside him and goes through at turn 1. The 2 teammates working together. Lulham first, 2nd for Westover. But you really want to be on the inside line, don't you, for the start of the final? But also to bear in mind with Fusion Motorsport, one of those drivers is gunning for the championship. The other isn't really. Lulham is the driver that can win the title, and Louis Westover is very conscious of that. He mentioned it when we interviewed him at the end of qualifying on Friday. So although he'd love to win the race, he also has to make sure that he can work with his teammate to try and win the championship, help win the championship for the driver and for the team. I suppose the ideal for them would be if Louis could win it and Chris could finish 2nd in the race and wrap up the title. But they've got to work together until the death. And 3rd place, Ben Wooldridge, is very much on their case here, still with them, hanging on to them, the former race leader. We're about to complete the 6th lap of the race, so we're almost at 2/3 distance. We've got Milan Petelé trying to bridge the gap in 4th position. He's as quick as them, but not really closing the gap. He's gained 5 places in this race, though, the Frenchman from 9th up to 4th place. Nose to tail between the 2 Fusion Motorsport drivers as they cross the line. Chris Lulham hangs on to the lead at turn 2. And if they start to fight, I don't think it's going to be long before 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th close up to them. And at the back of that second group is Killian Mayer, who's got back into 7th place now. And those 4 drivers, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, well clear of the rest of the pack. Here they come, back in front of the commentary box at turn 7, with Lulham now in front, having nosed ahead down at the hairpin. So it's Lulham from Westover and Ben Wooldridge close to them in 4th place. We've seen some good moves from various drivers down at turn 6. If you get a good exit, you can actually drive past a couple. We've seen that several times this weekend, drivers going from third to first. Lulham's turn to lead the race. Westover in second, Wooldridge in third. They've all led the race at one point. Killian Mayer has been a race leader as well. He's there now, I think, in 6th place, so he's gained another position. He looks like he's got ahead of Ethan Hawkey on that lap. So 6th position now. Coming back at everybody is Killian Mayer. Over the line they go, nose to tail. Louis Westover, number 15, tucked into the slipstream of his teammate Chris Lulham. Chris leans forward in the seat, tries to make himself a bit more aerodynamic as they head down towards turn 2. They're going up towards the hairpin at 3 now. Is there going to be any change? Well, it's late on your brakes as you dare, but nobody makes a move. First, second, third, all glued together. Milan Petele closing up to them, but frustratingly can't quite get involved in their battle. Got a lap and a half to go in the race. Milan Petele having to work hard as well to keep Oscar Paloma Ortiz behind him, because Oscar Paloma Ortiz looks quick at the moment. Ben Wooldridge looks to the inside at turn 6 and goes through into second place ahead of Louis Westover. So great move that from Wooldridge. That breathes a gap for Chris Lulham, who's suddenly now 3 lengths clear. And Ben Wooldridge points forward. Follow me, he says. We'll catch him back up. Louis Westover couldn't do much about that. Ben Wooldridge had made his mind up long before the move that he was going to go for it, and he executed it very well indeed. Good bit of outbraking that from Ben. So out of the final turn they come, and they are about to start the final lap of the race. Head down. Chris Lulham leads. He's going to hang on to the championship lead if he can stay there. His main rival is right behind him though, and Ben Wooldridge goes for the lead of the race at the start of the final lap, halfway alongside Lulham. He's later on the brakes and fends him off, but that was close. Ben Wooldridge might have another nibble on the way into the hairpin. He does. He goes down the inside and he goes through. And now Louis Westover is coming back at the pair of them. It's going to be 3 abreast into turn 4. Wooldridge is going to have the inside line. Westover might have to let his teammate through on the inside line, and Milan Petele catches them all up. So it's Wooldridge, Lulham, Westover the top 3. Petele right with them now in 4th place. Just a few corners to go. Into turn number 6 they go. The left-hander, and Wooldridge coming under fire, and Petele trying to go around the outside of everybody, trying to be in 3rd place, but it's Wooldridge still that leads the race. Lulham close as he dares to be. If it stays like this, they'll be dead level on points going into the final. It couldn't be closer. Fantastic setup this for the afternoon race in the final. It's been good, clean racing from everybody. Fantastic stuff. Out of the last corner they come. It's a drag race to the checkered flag. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be a side by side. 3 of them abreast. Who gets it? Lulham wins. Lulham wins from Wooldridge and Westover. And there is 26 thousandths of a second between all of them. And what a finish that was. Milan Petele 4th. Paloma Ortiz in 5th place. Mayer in 6th. So the win goes to Chris Lulham by the skin of his teeth. 0.035 seconds. It was, according to the timing screen, 0.061 seconds between the top 3. Unbelievable finish. Fantastic race that would have been deserving of a final. So Chris Lulham wins. Ben Wooldridge is 2nd. Chris Lulham will hang on to the championship lead with a race to go. Louis Westover played his part in that. 3rd place. Milan Petele 4th. Oscar Paloma Ortiz in 5th. Killian Mayer 6th. Ethan Hawkey 7th. Angus Morsday with a good drive through to 8th. Ethan Tan 9th. Ruben Moya in 10th, Alexander Brown in 11th, and Ali Akabi comes home in 12th place. Resha Dejeru, Renz Van Pelt, then Tanapong Panzer Tomno and Manel Galofra Torner, all drivers finishing the race. What a race it will be, and it will be Chris Lulham in the lead of the championship on pole for this afternoon's